the only play I've written actually where the story in part was brought to me. The artistic director of the Signature Theatre in DC said I had this amazing story. It's about this woman, Susanna Cox. She was an indentured servant and she was one of the first women to be hanged in Pennsylvania. And we have this theatre and there are beams and we can hang her. And I thought it was a musical, but I think it's a play. Would you like to do it? I said, oh, yeah, I don't know. Let me look into it. But I began to research the historical figure. I was very interested in the idea of writing a history play because there used to be such a rich tradition of playwrights writing a history play. And I ended up creating a piece that was in part the story of Susanna Cox, which was such a fascinating story and character to uncover and really heartbreaking, really intriguing. But also it was written during the Second Iraq War, and it's really a play that explored America's relationship to violence because the play is set when America was essentially being born as a country. So it's about the tremendous hope and aspirations of a new nation, but also a new nation that was inevitably created through violence. So it's a play that deals with all kinds of sort of big contemporary themes, but is actually set in the past. My advice to people interested in producing nests is that I worked very hard to write a history play that didn't feel dated. So I think the more imaginative and the less literal a production can be, the better. It's really, by the second half of the play, you're in a very expressionistic universe, and you really want a production to be kind of helmed by an auteur and take big leaps in the way that the play does. Structurally, it should be an experience. That's why there's music in it. It should be a totally theatrical experience, not something that you could watch on a TV. It is a play that is both sexual and violent. And the thing I really learned in the first production of the play was you can't let it be about sex. The sex in the play is really about the desire for freedom as opposed to a desire for titillation. It's really about release in a much wider sense. Susanna Cox is an indentured servant, so the only moment of freedom that she herself can find is the moment of orgasm, which, by the way, I saw was in 12 Years a Slave, much later, and I was like, me and Steve McQueen, wonderful. So it's really important in production not to make this some sort of tawdry tale. It's really about much larger and equally primal human instincts.